Hey, what's up, guys? This is Pete Dodd from foryourvitahype.com. Doing a little head dance in the background there while I can see myself. I decided to start this from the beginning just so you can get a little taste of the whole package of Disgaea. I believe this video is about 15 minutes long. I'm going to take you through the hub world and through an entire battle, showing off how the battles work. The game itself it's a strategy RPG in combat. It is not a sort of exploration-based RPG, though. I mean, I guess most strategy RPGs aren't. I mean, even Tactics Ogre or even Final Fantasy, you kind of move around a map. This, you don't even really move around the map. Well, here I'm taking a look. If you hit the little information thing, it gives you some stats on yourself on the save, which is kind of neat. I just found that yesterday, so I figured I'd show that off. This is pretty much the only time you use the touch screen, which I thought, being a sort of grid-based game, it would be mostly touch, but there is not very much touch at all. There are some back touch things, but there is not much front touch. You can kind of like pan the camera around with the front touch, but it's very awkward. I don't use it. Right now I'm just taking a look at your typical RPG menus and whatnot, you know, equipping items, equipping weapons. You can rename most of the characters except for the main characters. I have named my characters, I've started naming my characters after friends of mine, and I am now starting to fill it out with people that I don't like. Mostly terrible podcast hosts, because I'm a dick, I guess. But also, I would probably put myself under terrible podcast hosts as well, so there you go. So here's the hub world, as you see. I just healed all of my guys a second ago, then I went over and that's the shops. Here is, it's called going to class. When you go to class, sometimes the teacher comes, and the teacher...
Your attention, please! Stupid!
There's actually an awful lot of voice acting in this game, but there's text as well. It's a mix. The setup story for each level has voice acting. But running around the hub world talking to people for the most part is text. But here, this is basically like, in most strategy RPGs, you know, you set up the formation you want. Instead of doing that in a normal way, the whole basis of this is that you're at demon school. So the way you set up your formation is you go to class, and then you move people around, you assign their seating. You can also do other things there. Formation plays a huge part in this game because you can do a bunch of combo attacks and whatnot, which you'll see. This guy is the magic and skill teacher. What I didn't realize here, every time that I'm scrolling down, it's because I'm touching the back touch. The back touch basically acts as R2 and L2. So when I was accidentally hitting it and it was making it go down, you can actually see it flashing in the upper right and upper left. It says back touch is being touched, so that's how you know when you're doing it by accident. The back touch is used for character selection if you want to. I mean, you can just use the D-pad. And also for changing the camera around. Right here, I'm spinning the camera around. That's done with the shoulder buttons. So anyway, this is how it's sort of set up. I'm on chapter 2 now, which there's actually a tutorial before. But you can go back to the old chapters and you can redo any of the stages. So I decided to go redo this. This is a good way to grind. This is a good way to test out new tactics and whatnot. So the stages play out like this. You all come out of this sort of magic hole in the ground. The color that you see has an effect on the playing field. And this is where there's more puzzle elements to the game, because sometimes there's colors everywhere, and sometimes they boost the enemy, sometimes they boost you. So whether you want the color or don't want the color is important. If you see those blocks in the background, there's a blue one and a green one. If you throw those onto the color, it will change the color to those blocks, and then the ground will take whatever those blocks do. You know, they may boost your damage by 50%. So right there, I just did something called magic change. This is one of the many abilities where characters work together. Basically, you can turn your penguin into a gun and use it for 2 or 3 turns. It uses the penguin as a character. He is gone afterwards. He doesn't come back to fight. But it does a lot of damage. So I'm going to do my first attack right now, which I did the wrong one. This one does not do very much damage.
Here I go! This'll finish it! Power to me!
Now I start bringing the rest of my team out. There is the text message that I get during every video I make. That time it was my boss. So there's things too where the characters will fight together. So like you see, I just got in front of the character who just did an attack. But when I go to execute, since they're in a line, they do a combo attack together. So character placement is more important than just offense.
Let's roll!
Defense, it also is about doing combos. There's a couple other moves you can do. Like I said, the blocks. You can also pick up things and throw things. You can pick up people and throw people. There's me doing fire magic and missing, which sucked.
So sad.
As you hear, the music is kind of ridiculous. The story is also ridiculous. I would compare it. It's the type of game it's more like a Persona, more like a Catherine, even though Catherine is a puzzle game only, not really an RPG. But, like, there's no exploration. You're basically guided through the story. There's a hub world, like you saw before, where you can, upgrade all your skills and do all that stuff. But you aren't ever going to a world map. You are just following the story. I do, the story's kind of ridiculous, the characters are kind of ridiculous, the voice work can get annoying, as you probably have noticed by now. Here's me tapping the back things, by the way, to show what the back touch does. But, it can get annoying, but there's also something sort of charming about it. I think part of it is that I love Japanese strategy RPGs, and I'm kind of sick of, and I think have been sick of for about 15 years now, I'm the little kid, and I'm gonna take over the world, and I have to save the world, and I'm gonna whine, but by the end, I'm gonna become a big boy, and, do it right, and here's some lolly girl that's following me, and, the story, for how crappy it is, and a lot of the jokes really just fall flat. At least it's not that. The setup for this is that you're a demon, you're at demon school, and you are the best student at demon school because you're the worst student. Because everything at demon school is opposite. So you had never been to a class in your life, which made you an honor student. There's a couple girls that you meet that are considered delinquents because they love to study. They use that to varying effects. But I don't know. I wouldn't say I've actually laughed at anything in this game, but it's made me smile from time to time. So it's a mix, but there are times too where the voices are grating, and like this song in particular, just Take the welcome. And the little printy guys calling everyone dude is irksome, to say the least. Also, you see that treasure chest there. You have to attack the treasure chest to get the treasure inside it. I love when you attack and they counter, and then you counter their counter, and it says up in the upper left, it says counter. Just stuff like that I find fun. So they're starting to kill my guys, but I'm feeling pretty decent right now. I have a lot of them at low health. Now I'm looking for a special attack, but I don't have enough sort of skill points or magic points or whatever. I probably should have went and started doing things with those blocks in the background. They're called geo blocks. I may have made this easier, but I decided that I probably had the brute force to just defeat this. So we got another tag team going here. Edie Sellers over there has a bow. So what I figure out here is, I've already moved, so I can't move, but I can still attack, but I can't attack because no one's in range of that guy. So I pick him up, and then I throw him over there, which uses that character's turn, and now this character, who also couldn't move, can now attack because he's adjacent. So that's where the picking up and throwing comes handy. I mean, you could also throw blocks around. Sometimes there'll be people that are off, like, on, like, a floating part of the world where you have to throw characters across to go fight them and stuff. So there's a lot more mechanics than the typical strategy RPG game. See, here, I'm attempting to do the throw thing again, because my guy's about to do a charge that's going to take him about 5 squares. So I want to throw this little penguin right over here, so he gets hit by the charge, but the funny thing happens on the way over there is that the throw killed the penguin. So, mission accomplished, it just wasn't what I had drawn up. So there, I execute that. Flip through that guy, level up. You get experience and level up by getting the killing blow, so trying to plan out battles with who gets the killing blow, if you're paying attention to who, who you want to level up is important. So I'm just dealing with these guys now. You always have to execute your moves, because if you want to set up a bunch of attacks in a row and then hit execute, you can do that. If you want to do one attack and then hit execute, you can do that. But just hitting attack itself doesn't do it. You have to then go to the menu and hit execute.
Take that!
It doesn't do all that much damage, but it's really cool looking. We got some counter, and I think that might have been a counter. So I know I'm about to win this, and so I have these characters back here, and I am going to try to get that treasure before this ends. So I move Edie Sellers over here, and then I execute that, and I got the treasure. And now I can kill this guy in peace. There. Decided to do 2 attacks. I didn't even need that. There you go. Stage clear. Depending on how you do, it's the more sort of bonus items you get. I've never gotten higher than 3 or 4. I've only played one Disgaea game before this, so I am definitely not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. You go down here and you can save. You can save at any point too, which is nice. So there you go. I'm overwriting my save. And that's about it. I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or go to the site and comment. Yeah, the screen's gone black. The video's over. Check out the site at foryourvitahype.com. It will likely be a long time before I get a written review of this up, because the game is so massive. But we should have a video up soon of Star Drone, which came out this week, and a review probably sometime this weekend of Star Drone as well, if you're looking for some info on that. Thanks. Bye.